All right. So this artist is essentially why we're talking about paper art today, because this is probably my current favorite artist.
Oh, okay.
Which my favorite artist changes all the time. But right now, I am all about Yulia Brodskiya?
Brodskiya.
Russian.
Brodskiya.
Yeah. We'll go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's Russian and she's currently working out of the UK, and she started using a paper strip to sign her name as a distinctive way to attract clients. Because she was designing a bunch of stuff, and it just sort of started to morph into paper art. And this particular style of paper art is referred to as quilling.
Okay.
And quilling has been around forever. In fact, it also started very similar to origami.
Okay.
And it was in the churches. They were using the leftover, like the gold edging from the Bibles, and twirling it around a quill and creating designs and artwork with it as an economical way to decorate the church.
I had no... What?
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of like old versions with some sort of religious icon in the center. Maybe it was painted, and then a bunch of quilling and stuff around it, which I think is so cool that this is like the modern take. And you can see the evolution. And you can see how she goes from her name and explores all this typography, which I love typography. Helvetica.
Yes, that's Helvetica. I'm glad you feel the same way about Helvetica that I do.
Yeah, and then so you see the typography and a little bit of like design going around it, and then she started to develop paper graphs.
Ooh.
And this is where it gets fun.
So pretty.
The colors.
The colors are everything.
The shape. I feel like shape is such a dominant component to her artwork, and it's not for a lot of artists. You know, you see a lot of line, you see a lot of contrast or even texture, but shape is kind of the undervalued
I agree with that
component. And here it really comes into play.
It's so pretty. This is the first time I'm seeing it, so I'm like,
you get to experience.
Yes, I am experiencing. I'm very much experiencing it right now.
It gets better. So now we start to see more of a composition coming out of these things. That's, I think, why they have the graph portion in the name. So we've got a lot of elements coming together, lots of different colors,
This is so cool because I see like there's so much happening, and it's like I have sound effects happening in my head as I'm looking at this, and like
it's an explosion of
yeah, really much. So you see all these, the cogs, and then the electricity, and then the arrows, and then like the circles, and they're all just kind of coming out in different directions. And I don't know, it's against the black background, it really pops.
I love the zebras.
The zebras are so amazing. And the one thing that I really like, I like how you can see it from this distance. You can see all the little individual sheets of paper, or folded paper, and so you can see more in depth and how much effort it took to create those zebras.
Right, and that's why I wanted to include it, because it could be a painting, just looking at the image straight on, but it's once you get that angled view, you start to realize all the magic that is happening.
Yeah.
So after all of that, her work increasingly became portraits, which is super cool, and further like blurred those lines between quilling and painting. Something I think that's really neat about her is she arrived at quilling without even knowing what quilling was.
Oh, really?
And her technique is a little bit different than like classic quilling. You would normally be like a really thin paper that you can easily manipulate it, but she uses like thicker paper or even cardstock.
Yeah.
And yet here we are. And I think that's part of why it might be so different and has that textural component to it.
It gives you a whole different look with the different grades of paper.
Yes, absolutely. It's almost like a heavy-handed artist who really pushes into the paper when they draw.
And you can see each individual brush stroke in their painting. This one I like a lot because it has that 2D, 3D feel to it, because you have like the flat sheet of paper, which is the area of the beard, which is just like, and then also the hat has this kind of flat 2D look, but then you have the 3D look with the upright, sheets, folded sheets.
It really gives a good balance. And you've got, not only is it black and white is kind of like these main pieces, which kind of relax you from all that is happening with the face. Every one of those little pieces of paper is like a wrinkle, is a story of this old man, the life that he's lived. I just love the juxtaposition of the smooth, and then having that negative space is so well used.
Yeah, that the use of the negative and positive space you can see definitely in the nose area, because there essentially isn't anything there but just what's underneath the sheet of paper or canvas or
Just
whatever
like
it is.
working in watercolor, you kind of have to think backwards and where am I going to not touch the paper and leave it alone so that it can be a highlight. It's the same exact concept. I want this above my couch.
This is beautiful.
I just stare at it.
This looks ginormous. I don't know if it is or not, but it looks ginormous, and it's just so pretty.
It's so pretty. I love this kind of composition anyway, where you see faces in some sort of organic structure combined, whether it's like your classic tattoo of flowers coming out of a skull or something. But something about that, it's like a sense of growth and beauty and natural, and I love it.
You know what? This looks okay. So we know that it's paper, but it almost looks like tiny little books.
Oh yeah,
like a little library or something. I don't know.
Especially because of the structure, I think, in the like rim of the veil, and I love the subtle like shadowing just by using kind of different colors of white or like a little bit of beige. You get that shadow effect, and it gives structure to it, and the kind of the warmer colors that you have even for the shadow of the skin, that like bright pink and that purple is such a good contrast to all the teals and blues and everything that's happening.
That's so crazy. It looks so painterly, but it is not. It is so amazing.
So crazy. And look how big it is. It's as big as she is.
Yeah, that's dope.
I don't know how that could so much time. So much time.
There's so much time and effort. It's just so amazing. I just love looking at these.
And it's really a marriage of like that painterly quality, but also sculpture. It has a sculptural element to it as well, because it has that third dimension, even though it's done kind of flat. All right. So then we get some famous faces in here because, of course.
Yes.
And again, just the amount of texture that is happening, and the light side of Paul's face and the dark side of his face. It just has that like duality.
Yeah. Does she have a lot of celebrity portraits?
So she gets commissions a lot. She's even done stuff for commercials. There was one on there for like Cadbury, which was really cute. It was like little milk pouring out and then all the white.
Oh, okay.
It's a splash. Yeah, it was, a lot of, and then this one in particular was for a magazine cover.
Okay.
And I mean, everybody loves some Princess Di, but
of course.
Oh my gosh, the tiara.
Yeah, the little circles.
And then just the way the hair goes from dense.
I was just about to say that.
Super thin.
Yeah.
Where like the light would be shining.
Yeah, it's so crazy how it's just a trick on the eyes.
Yeah.
And how she plays on that.
Yeah.
Because there's depth, but then there's like that feathery look.
Right.
Around the hair. That's wild. That's just
and then look at the earrings. Even the earrings have that, like just that little bit. There's probably 2 blue colors in there, but it's just enough to give it a shape.
Yeah.
And create a shadow.
It's nice.
Oh. I just love the way that she thinks. Like to plan all this out, first of all, but then to combine, so it's not just a person. There's something else going on.
Yeah.
Even if it's a portrait, there's nuances to it. And I mean, the combination here with the jaguar is stunning to me.
These concepts are really, really good.
Yeah.
On top of just the work itself.
What juice are you drinking, Yulia? Because we need some.
Yeah, my mind's blown. This is the first time I'm seeing them. So I'm like, what?
Now you're understanding why this is one of my current faves.
I see.
Low-key obsessed. But yeah, the fact that she kind of arrived here on her own without influence of past quilling, I think allowed her to rewrite the book.
Yeah.
speaking of rewriting books, great segue. She actually published one, and she shares everything she's learned about it, which I think is so cool when you have a pretty niche, like, artistic thing going on.
And then you're sharing it.
And you're sharing it.
That
'Cause
gatekeeping.
the tendency is to want to hoard that, because that's what makes you special.
Yeah,
that's what makes your art worth.
Yeah.
But to share that information out and explain all of her learnings and the do's and don'ts it's for humanity.
Just like Yoshizawa.
Thank you for watching this clip of Spotlight with Purple Easel.
We're art instructors at SoCal's largest paint and sip studio.
Check out purpleeaselplus.com to join the largest online paint and sip community.
And you want to make sure to like, subscribe, follow, ring that bell, add to the conversation, comment below, and check out our full episodes at Purple Easel Spotlight.
We'll see you soon.